Okay, we're continuing exponential growth versus exponential decay, but this week we're going to be focusing on the graphs of each. So here's just kind of a review of everything we've learned so far about exponential growth versus exponential decay. For exponential growth, a times b to the x, your b, the number next to x, is going to be bigger than 1. So for example, 3 to the x, right? That means that my table is going to be increasing by multiplying by 3 every time. And when I see that on the graph, my values are going to be going up. They're going to be increasing. Okay, so b is greater than 1, which means that your table's increasing, and it means that the graph is going up. If you look at it from left to right, it makes that sort of L shape. Now, the decay is the exact opposite. So you still have a times b to the x, but when you notice that this number b next to x is less than 1, so it looks like a fraction or a decimal, then it's going to be decaying or decreasing. So that means that the numbers are, for example, 1 over 3 to the x, the numbers are going to be divided by 3 every time, okay? And you know it's divided by 3 because of that fraction 1 over 3. So your numbers are getting smaller, and when you look at the graph from left to right, your graph is going down, okay? So think of yourself on top of this hill. If you were to go down this graph, it'd be like going down a slide. It is decreasing. And what I want to notice is that these exponential growth or exponential functions have this unique shape where they level out, okay? So this one is leveled out at the bottom and then it sharply turns up. This one is sharply going down, it's very steep, and then it levels out here at x equals 0. Now what's actually happening here is the fact that if you continue to divide by 3 over and over and over again, you can't get 0 by dividing any number over and over again. So this graph is leveling out because it's getting closer and closer to 0, but it can't ever actually reach 0. So that's why it ends up looking like a flat line, but really it's just getting closer and closer to 0. Demonstration of that. If I take 27 and I divide by 3, I get 9. If I keep dividing by 3, I get 3, divide by 3, I get 1, divide by 3, I get 0.3 repeating, keep dividing by 3, I get a smaller decimal, an even smaller decimal, an even smaller decimal, and you know what? It's never, ever, ever going to reach 0 because it's impossible. You cannot divide a number by 0. You learned that back in middle school. We call that undefined. So because of that, we actually get some unique characteristics for the graphs of exponential functions. Last week, you looked at tables and you determined some things based off the table, including what the equation was going to be. This week, we're going to focus on what the graphs look like and what it tells us about the equation. So we already know that the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That's for any graph that we've done in algebra. Now, where that is in the equation is our a. Okay, so a is going to tell us where it crosses the y-axis. It's also the number that's out front in the equation. If there is no number, it's automatically 1. There's also this unique characteristic about it called an asymptote. That's a weird word right there. Asymptote. The P is silent. Okay. Where that graph was leveling out, so it happens here and it also happens here, that's going to be what's called a horizontal asymptote. So that's a line that the graph can never cross. It's kind of like an invisible boundary, okay? So that's going to always be at the x-axis for exponential functions that are of this form, and it will never cross that line, okay? We're going to learn about how that asymptote might move sometimes, but for right now, it's always just at the x-axis where y is 0. Domain and range, this goes back to the first or second unit in my class. Domain is the x values. When you're looking from left to right, this graph can continue on forever and ever, all real numbers. The range, those are your y values. That's when you look from the bottom of the graph to the top of the graph. Well, the bottom of the graph has that boundary, and then it goes on forever towards the top. So we say that y can be any number that's above this x-axis. So y is greater than 0 is what my range is, okay? The graph is only above whatever the asymptote is that you choose. We'll spend more time on that. Today we're going to focus on the overall characteristics. All right, now for the example. So I'm going to give you a graph and we're going to determine those important characteristics about that graph. Okay, so here's my graph for y equals 2 to the x. Now, the reason why this graph looks the way it is because of its values. So whenever I have 2 to the x, that's really just 2 to whatever power I decide to do it to, right? 2 to the negative second power. So when I plug in x, I get 0.25. 2 to the negative first power. When I plug in negative 1, I get 0.5. 2 to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1. That was an exponent rule we learned back in January. 2 to the first power. That's just 2. So y equals 2. 2 to the second power. That's 2 times 2. That's 4. So I get all those values and you notice that the numbers are getting bigger every time. So that's growth there, exponential growth. And this is what the graph ends up looking like. Okay, the numbers are going to keep going up because if you did 2 to the third power, that'd be 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8. So it keeps getting bigger and bigger. All right, so some things that we want to note about the graph. We see that it has a y-intercept right here. That's where it's crossing the y-axis. That's at 1. That's also in my table right there. So that also means that there's an invisible 1 out front here. This is b because it's next to x, and there was no a, so we assume it's 1. So my y-intercept is 1. My asymptote is where the graph levels out at. So I can draw a horizontal line where it's leveling out at. That's where y is 0, the x-axis. Okay, I'm going to put it in the form y equals 0. The domain is all real numbers, and the range then is all of the y values above the asymptote. So all the y values above 0, y is greater than 0. All right, another example just to kind of see what we're going to be looking for in these graphs. All right, so here, first thing I want to notice is that for y equals 1 over 4 to the x, this means I should be dividing by 4. So look here at my values. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, and so forth. So my numbers are decaying. They're getting smaller. And if they're decaying, I notice that my graph is going down. Okay? So the y-intercept is where it's crossing the y-axis here. It's also the 0 in the table. And it should be the a, the number in front of b in the equation. There is no number here, so there's an invisible 1. That means my y-intercept is 1. My asymptote is that line where it's leveling out, and I see it's leveling out right there. Again, that's at the x-axis. That's not changing today, okay? So the asymptote is at the x-axis, y is 0. The domain is the x values, which are all real numbers, and the range are the y values from bottom to top. The bottom of this graph is at 0. The top goes on forever, so that means y is greater than 0. Above the line is my greater than symbol. All right, one more example here. I'm giving you a couple more examples in this video than normal, but I want to make sure that you guys are able to identify all the important characteristics of the exponential function. Okay, so first thing I want to notice is this growth or decay. So let's look at the values. I have a times b to the x. That means that my a is 2, my b is 3. This b is greater than 1, which means that I'm multiplying by 3 every time. It's getting bigger, okay? So it is growing. I know that much. I'm going to circle that. And I see that my graph is going up from left to right, so I want to know the y-intercept. Well, that's going to be where it crosses the y-axis. That looks like it's at 2. That should also be in my table. 0's with 2. And it's also the number in front of b in the equation. There it is, 2. So the y-intercept is 2. The asymptote, I told you it's not changing today. It's where it flattens out here, and that's at the x-axis. So my asymptote is y equals 0. The domain, all real numbers. Hopefully at this point you realize this isn't changing either. And the range is all the numbers above the asymptote, which means they're above 0. Y is greater than 0. Make that connection. If the asymptote is 0, the range is greater than 0. Okay? All right, so here are the examples that you're going to be doing for your assignment. I'm going to give you an equation, and you're going to tell me what the a and the b are. What is the equation of that graph? Okay? And we can do that by finding 2 points. So the first thing that I looked for was the y-intercept. So I see it's crossing the y-axis here at 4. So that's my 0, 4. And then I, of course, need another point because I need to know how much it's going up by. This is increasing. So my next point, I can go over to 1, and the next time that it touches 1 is at 8. So that means 1, when x is 1, y is 8. So then I do the same thing that I did last week. I find my a, which was my y-intercept. I figure out how much it's going up by. Okay, so it's going up from 4 to 8. That's multiplying by 2. And so that's my b. So a is 4, b is 2. Here's my equation, 4 times 2 to the x. Okay, and I'm going to fill out the other information just because I want us to get used to that. So the y-intercept is 4. The asymptote is still at the x-axis. The domain is still all real numbers. And the range is still all of the numbers above the asymptote. So y is greater than 0. All right, so that's what you're going to be doing. I want you to be looking for the y-intercept, and then you're going to be looking for one other point to figure out the pattern that it follows. Is it increasing? So are you multiplying by the same number, or is it decreasing? Are you dividing by the same number every time? So I'm going to have you try a couple examples with me on an ed puzzle, and then you can do your assignment.